Okay, hi everybody, welcome. It is our final class. I guess that looks like it scared some people away. Too sad, too emotional. But what we're doing is we're going to be um, tackling the laws of Shehayanu. I tried to take something that was self-contained, really. We did nice and thorough work on laws of berachot, kedima berachot, ikar and tafel. We worked on beracha rishona. I would have what was remiss in this course was beracha harona of birkat hamazon, and al mahya and bonin nefashot. But now, so I have another topic that we can try to tackle in one sitting, and that's the laws of Shehayanu. We probably won't be able to tackle it all in one sitting, but we'll do our best. And so let's just get started with the laws of saying a beracha on Shehayan, the beracha of Shehayanu. So first source, Talmud Bavli. If anybody could just give me a virtual thumbs up that we're zoomed in enough and that you guys can see the source sheet that was shared. If anybody's out there.
Okay.
All right, good. Thank you, Lynn. We're good.
Looks good, Rabbi.
Good. Appreciate it. Okay. So let's start. So we have the Talmud Yerushalmi. Talmud Yerushalmi says, Masechet Kiddushin of Yerushalmi, Atid Adam liten din v'heshbon. At the end of 120, everybody will have to give an accounting, a din and a heshbon, a testimony and an accounting, al kol ma shera'ata eino velo achal, on anything that a person sees in this world and did not eat. I'm gonna be fine because everything I see I eat, so that's good, right? So anytime that you see something that's good and you don't eat it, Hashem is gonna come and ask you, why didn't you eat it? Because I created it for you in this world, and you should be happy that I created it and want to eat it. Obviously, this is talking about fruits, vegetables, natural stuff. But again, anything that Hashem put down on this earth, try to eat it, kosher, of course. Rabbi Eliezer hashash lehadash ma'atata. ומצמיד לפריטין ואכיל בהון בכל מילה חדתה דשתה. So he said Rabbi Eliezer would take this very much to heart, this teaching, Shema Tata, and would try to locate certain fruits every time they came into the marketplace each year as hadash, as new. So every time fruits came back into season, Rabbi Eliezer was sure to find these fruits and make a beracha on them. So that's really the source in the Gemara where we see, hey, listen, Hashem gave us all of these fruits and vegetables to eat and have hana'ah from them. Go crazy. You should try to, and when you say the beracha, say it nice and proudly, and really have in mind how Hashem does everything for us and provides us with everything. Really an amazing concept. Let's go to Maran in source 2, Siman Resh Kaf He Se'if Gimal. He says, Haro'eh pri hadash mithadesh mishana l'shana. A person sees a fruit become new from year to year, meaning season to season. It's they have the there used to be a funny Seinfeld about the Mackinac peaches, right? The peaches are back in season. So those peaches, when they come into season and then they go out of season, every year they are renewed. What should a person say? Mevarech shehayanu. Person says shehayanu on a new fruit. Va'afilu ra'ahu beyad Havero or al ha'ilan. What's interesting, what people do not know is that the original custom, and this is based on the Gemara, is that you said shehayanu just on seeing the fruit. Picture this and put yourself in a farmer's shoes. He walks through his orchard, his vineyard, and he's loving the produce that his trees yielded. Even at that time when he's just walking through his orchard and he's seeing what's on the trees, he could say shehayanu just by seeing it. And here, Maran, that's actually the halacha. However, v'nahagu shelo levarech ad sha'at achila. Maran says, even though you can say it when you're just looking at it, our custom is we don't say shehayanu on a new fruit until we are ready to eat it. Hagah, right? The Rama comes and says, Umi sheberach b'sha'at re'iyah. Anybody who does say the beracha when he or she actually sees it, lo hifsid, he doesn't lose out. So the Ashkenazim are more mekel to say it even when you see the fruit in the orchard, or it looks beautiful when you're shopping for it. Do not say the beracha unless the fruit is fully ripe. Ve'im lo birech b're'iyah rishona, yachol leberech b're'iyah shniya. If you did not say the beracha on the first time you saw the fruit, you could say the beracha on the second time you see it. So what do we see so far? So far we see that there is a concept of making sure that we always say a beracha on new fruits. We should search after them. And if you say a new fruit on something that comes new into season each and every year, you say shehecheyanu on that fruit. Let's do this Hazon Avadia first, because even if you have a question, a lot of times this Hazon Avadia will help to answer your question. So Hazon Avadia Yosef says in the laws of Tu Bishvat, Amud Taf Lamed Zayin Halacha Zayin, and I broke it down into a few different parts. Peri, right, a fruit, she'eno nikar ben hadash liyashan. I have no idea whether or not this fruit is new to the marketplace, old to the marketplace. Kegon egozim ushkedim. Right, nuts can stay fresh for a long time. Maybe this was last year's nuts, the last season's nuts from a few months ago. Even though they do make it into the marketplace from year to year and they come out and then they go back into season and they are available all the time. So he says, even though if they're always available and there's no way to tell, even if a guy knows that this is from this year, then you still do not say shehayanu, right? What's the logic? Because again, we need there to actually be recognition that this is from this year, in fact. Right? We say that again, you could say that these were from the last batch, but we're never really 1,000% sure. And mevarech alehem shehiyanu. V'chen al perot yeveshim kigon tzimukim, shezifim, umishmoshim, apricots, and mevarech shehiyanu. Dried fruits also never get a shehiyanu. Only fresh fruits get a shehiyanu, and nuts we do not say shehiyanu on. V'chen, last one from Hazon Avadia, v'chen perot v'yerakot hanimtzaim bashuk b'meshech kol yamot hashana. Also fruits that are in the shuk all year. V'afilu hem onatiyim, they're seasonal. V'yesh zman kabua legidulam, and there's a set time for them to be grown. Ela shenoagim le'achsan otam bebate kirur ve'ayedeh kach hem nimtzaim b'shuk b'meshech kol yamot hashana ve'en heker ben haperot o yerakot hatriyim sheba ba'onatam leben el haba'im bebate hakirur, meaning you freeze them. Let's say peaches only grow 8 months out of the year, but I have in my store peaches available 12 months out of the year, and that's the custom of everybody in the stores around me. So if that's the case, then what happens? And I store them in the freezer, and I bring them out during the 4 months that they're not here. En mevarchim shehayanu. Afilu ala perot hachadashim v'atirim, even on the new ones that are fresh. No, this one I think is new. No, the fact that the entire fruit is available all the time, we do not say shehayanu. That's why look what Hamadia says. Lachen en mevarech shehayanu al perot bekufsaot shimurim. We don't say shehayanu on canned fruit, right? Which makes sense. Canned cherries, they could be from who knows how many years they stay. But if you can tell from looking at them and tasting them and understanding that this is from the new ones, then you say shehayanu. So bottom line, we see 3 very important halachot here from Havadia. Number 1, if it's dried fruit, we don't say shehayanu. Nuts, we don't say shehayanu because again, nuts can be, it's very difficult to tell this year, last year, and they're generally always in season. But even the nuts, we don't say shehayanu on them because it's tough to recognize them as being fresh. And let's say we have seasonal fruits that only grow for a certain amount of time, but the custom is they grow in, let's say, I'm giving an example, such an abundance that what the custom is that they freeze them or they refrigerate them and then they bring them out all year long. That is also a type of fruit that we do not say shehayanu on. Let's take some questions here from anybody who has a question. Let's just go. Anybody have a question? Anybody have any questions on this? Let's see. Okay, it looks like it's
Rabbi, so like cherries, for example, are not shehayanu, but then like random fruit, which I can't think of right now, but like something for Tu B'Shvat, the ones that they put out. So those are
Exactly.
shehayanu, I would imagine, right?
Right. So, yes, exactly. So let's take an easy one. Let's take pears. Let's take a even fruit. I know that we know, let's say like komis pears. I know that my in-laws are very into that one, right? But they're not available. Those pears are not available all year. There's at least a few months where they're not available. So they come out of season and then let's say they disappear from stores for like 2 months. When they come back, you say shehayanu. Let's say star fruit, a guava. These are fruits that are maybe not available all year long. Every watermelon is available all year long. Blueberries, strawberries, apples, peaches, plums. Most of these fruits, grapes, are available all year, even though it's not the season. They're available all year, so therefore they're not. Even if you say, "Oh, I haven't had a fruit in this amount of time," you're not going to say shehayanu. We will see if, let's say, a person, if you've never tasted the fruit before, you definitely say shehayanu. And some rabbis have said that if you haven't eaten this fruit in a whole year, you'll say shehayanu. We'll get to that, hopefully this class, maybe next time. But the key thing is which types of fruit get a shehayanu. So, Lynn, does that answer the question?
Yes, Rabbi, it's good. Yes, perfect.
Good. Okay. Anybody else? I'll say it again because I know it's a new law to some people. So some people maybe might need me to clarify. Are we good? Okay. Looks like we're good. I don't think anybody else has any other questions. So let's go back to the source sheet. Okay. So going back to the source sheet, let's see. Okay. So now we're up to source 4 in the Mishnah Berurah. Good. So let's see. So all Mishnah Berurah says in source 4, I want to skip through it. He says that he's commenting on the Ramah that even if you saw the fruit multiple times and you don't want to say the shehayanu, you want to wait till you eat it to say the shehayanu, you can still say the shehayanu. That's not a problem. Seeing it doesn't ruin your ability to say shehayanu. However, eating it does. So let's give an example. Figs have been off the market. So now when a person has figs, now for the first time, they say, "Oh, wow, figs, I haven't had it in the longest time." And they say, loud and proud, and they take a bite. And now somebody says, "Oh, after they eat their first fig, they're like, oh, you could have said shehayanu. Oh, you're right, I could have said shehayanu. Let me take another fig and say shehayanu." No, that's it. Once you ate it already and you missed your chance of saying shehayanu, you do not say shehayanu again. So Mishnah Berurah just points that out, that there is a difference between seeing a fruit for the first time. If I saw the fruit for the first time, I could still say shehayanu the next time I either see it or the first time I eat it. If a person eats the fruit, and that's it, and they did not say shehayanu that first time, they ate it, now they lose their chance next time of saying it again. Okay, that looks like it's good. Also, let's do the next one. Also is a very important halacha. Hazon Ovadia Tu B'Shvat. We're in source 5. Hazon Ovadia Tu B'Shvat Amud Taf Lamed Tet. He says, Ovadia says, and this is a very important question. Let's say a person says, "Okay, we've identified a fruit that I have to say shehayanu on, and now I'm ready to eat it." Right. So let's stick with our example, the fig. I stick with the fig. I have the fig, and now I'm ready to say it. Now I have to say 2 berachot on it. I have to say borei pri ha'etz, and I have to say shehayanu. Do I say one and then take a bite and then say the other one? What's the order of berachot? So here's what Hamadei Yosef says: Kishemevarech shehayanu al peri hadash. When a person says shehayanu on a new fruit, yakdim lebarech berkat nehenin shehi tedira yoter. First, you say berkat nehenin, the beracha of pleasure, which is borei pri ha'etz. Why? Because that one comes tadir. Tadir means it comes all the time. You say that more frequently, and the hiyuv is more permanent on that than it is shehayanu. Shehayanu is very specific. It only applies in certain situations. Borei pri ha'etz is tadir. It always applies. Anytime you're having something that's borei pri ha'etz, whether or not it's a new fruit, old fruit. So first you say ha'etz, ve'achar kach berkat shehayanu. And after that you say shehayanu, and then you take a bite. Sheken halacha ravacha. This is a very clear halacha. Shetadir v'she'eno tadir, tadir kodem. That which is tadir, which it comes more frequently or permanently, and something else that doesn't come permanently, you do the one that's permanent first. I'll give you an example from men. There's a lot more of these examples from men. Is that, let's say a man has to light Hanukkah candles for his household. So what comes more often? Lighting Hanukkah candles, which is during the nighttime, or saying Arbit? Arbit you have to say every single day of the year. Hanukkah candles is only 8 days. So you're not going to say, oh, if I have to do both mitzvot are in front of me, so I'm not going to say, oh, do the Hanukkah candles first. I'm going to say, do the mitzvah that comes more often first. First, the man has to pray Arbit, then he could light the Hanukkah candles for you. Now, let's say a person messes up. What happens if, let's say, by accident, they forgot the class? I remember Rabbi Tawil teaching me that there's an issue. Say ha'etz first, say shehayanu first. Then I messed up the order. I said shehayanu first. Don't sweat it. Take the bite and yatzai dechova. You fulfill your obligation. However, what is more proper to do? It is more correct to say the beracha of birkat nehenin, the borei pri ha'etz first, and then say the shehayanu. Let's stop for questions if there are any. Anybody with a question? Anybody with a question? Let's see. Anybody with a question? I'm looking around. Okay, look, everybody looks like they're good. Okay. Let's move on. Sorry, I'm just toggling back. Sorry, I'm just moving back between the screen and this. Okay. So now we're up to source 6. Also, Hamadeh Yosef. Perot ha'ilan hamurkavim min b'she'eno mino. What about grafted fruits? כגון תפוחי זהב וכיוצא בהם והם פירות חדשים, יש לברך עליהם גם ברכת שהחיינו. There's a sin of grafting fruits together. You cannot be one to graft the fruits together. However, once fruits are grafted, you are allowed to not only eat them, but you are allowed to also say shehayanu. So I'll give a couple of examples of things that I think are grafted. There are like a persimmon is one. A clementine. I believe clementines are also. I think a blood orange, right? A blood orange is also grafted. These are things that are man-made that we've learned through genetics and botany how to create these fruits. Again, you have to check. I think I'm correct on those as examples. I'd have to go back and check. But those types of examples are, so do I say shehayanu? Yeah, if the first time a blood orange comes back into season, I see it, I could say shehayanu, no problem. And that's also a good one for Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat is coming up at the end of the winter break. I'll just check it out here. Yeah, it is the 28th of January. So we're 3 weeks away from Tu B'Shvat. So that's exciting. Okay, so that's about grafting. Let's stop again. Let's see if anybody has a question about the grafting. I don't think anybody does. Let's just look around. Okay, I don't see anybody has a question. Okay, let's go back. Okay, 1 second. Oh, I realize I still have my mask on from the day. That's a little weird. Let me go back. Okay, we're good. Okay, back. Okay, Mi shehuva. This is now source 7. We're rapid fire. Mi shehuva lefanav kama mine perot. Let's say somebody had a lot of different fruits that were brought in front of them, and you guys know this. We learned this together. Let's say for Sfaradim, if we bring ha'etz and adama together, I bring pineapple and grapes. What's the halacha? Take whichever one you want. Ashkenazim say the beracha on the ha'etz first. But now let's say we bring a lot of different fruits. Now you're at, as Lynn mentioned, you're at a Tu B'Shvat party, and now somebody brought you so many different fruits. V'kulam hadashim etzlo. All of them are new fruits that you have to say shehayanu. So what do? Do I say shehayanu on all of them? So we say no. The halacha is beracha achat shehayanu poteret et kulam. One shehayanu covers all of the new fruits that are in front of you. Ulam, however, how should you set it up? What is Hamadia? He gives an advice. טוב יותר לומר מראש לבני ביתו שלא יביאום אלא אחד אחד ברווח זמן שהיסח הדעת ביניהם, כדי שיוכל לברך שהחיינו על כל אחד ואחד והם שהחיינו. So you can do this little trick, we'll say, quote unquote. You could tell the person who's serving you to bring each and every fruit one by one to you. And first they'll bring you, let's say, the star fruit. Oh, wow, okay. Good. Next, then they'll bring you then they'll wait 25 minutes. You'll say, oh, let's go for a walk. Now you come back from the walk. Oh, okay. Here, let me give you now the blood orange. Okay, great. Now the blood orange. Excellent. Now, and you could keep going like this and do this as Shehayanu. No problem. And that this way you can say Shehayanu on each and every item. Now, how do we get away with this? A lot of times we say that there's a beracha she'ena tzricha. It's a beracha that it's not necessary. And if you know that something is coming to you, you're not supposed to get extra berachot. You're supposed to just say one beracha and cover it. So I'll give you an example from Shabbat. When there's something else to gain, either, let's say, 100 blessings in a day, or that each and every fruit gets respected with the shehayanu that it deserves, and I earn saying extra berachot on, let's say, a day like Shabbat where I need 100 blessings. In those cases, the rabbis were lenient as long as you play by the rules and you make a break in between. So I'll give you an example. It's a practical halacha from the laws of Shabbat. Everybody has Shabbat dessert, right? Now we know the dessert is coming. So let's say, for example, on a weekday, there's Shabbat and a weekday, and the law is different in each one. Let's take Shabbat. Let's take the weekday first. Person decides to have a tuna sandwich for lunch. So they say hamotzi lechem haaretz. Excellent. They have hamotzi lechem haaretz. We say the tuna sandwich. They're having tuna sandwich and a chocolate chip cookie for dessert. Now they know the dessert is coming, and the cookie is mezonot. It's covered by the bread. You don't say a nu beracha on dessert. You know it's coming. You eat the sandwich. You eat the dessert. Then you say birkat hamazon. Same thing on Shabbat. I'm having a full meal and I know dessert is coming. However, since on Shabbat we're low on blessings because the Amidah is very small. It's only 7 blessings instead of 19. And there's a halacha that everybody has to try to say 100 blessings each and every day. On Shabbat, we make an exception. On Shabbat, we let you say birkat hamazon first after the meal is over. Then bring the dessert, say all new blessings, and then another beracha harona. This was allowed. The Ben Ish Hai is not so thrilled about it, but Havadia Yosef says that you can do it. And why do we do it this way? Because there's a reason to on the other end. There's a reason to gain the 100 berachot. So what do? We have the meal, Shabbat, say birkat hamazon, bring the dessert, and say all new blessings. By the way, just on this halacha, that applies even, again, it's best to say birkat hamazon, then bring the dessert. But if a person brings the dessert, and let's say a person brings the dessert and then says birkat hamazon, you can, and then you could say nu berachot as well. So here too, that's this exact case where we say that, and that's this exact case where we say that you could also, as long as you have a lot of breaks in between, then you're able to then bring each and every fruit and say shehayanu. But if you don't want to hassle with that, and there's a lot of different fruits all around, that need shehayanu, you could say one shehayanu, and this one shehayanu is going to cover it for everybody. Okay, let's see if anybody has a question. Let's see, let's go around. Okay, I don't see it. Must have been good, self-explanatory. Okay, anybody have any questions, even on the Shabbat thing? Don't be shy. Okay. All right, so let's use our last 5 minutes to just do one more halacha. Let's go. Let's just go with it. Okay, here we go. So let's say this next one is a good one as well. So we see that here I'm on source 8. Let's scroll down. Source 8. Te'enim shechorot ulevanot. let's say you have things that are called figs, right? There are the black figs and the green figs, right? How many of you guys like figs? Anybody like figs? I really like figs. I don't know if that's anybody. All right, good. Marcel's giving me a nod, so that's good. Okay. All right, so the figs are good. So now there's two different types of figs, but technically they're both figs. So in those cases, I say I have two different colored figs next to me. There's one shehayanu covers both. It's not. They're not considered two separate items when it comes to shehayanu. It's considered one thing. The kevan sheberech shehayanu amin echad mehen shuv lo yevarech amin acher. Here, you're not allowed to say a second shehayanu on the white figs if you said a shehayanu already on the purple figs or the black figs. So it's considered one mean for shehayanu. Okay. Mishnah Berurah number 9 just says Mevarchim asher chayanu each and every time it comes into the market. He says Bekol pam upam kevan da'kol panim bam izman lizman. It comes from time to time. So let's give an example. Let's just this is a theoretical case. Ready? Theoretical case. Let's just pick a fruit, blueberries. Let's imagine that blueberries are in season and I shouldn't say it that way, as we just learned. They are available in the marketplace from September to November. Then they're unavailable from December and January. In February, they pop back up. So in February, when you're going to have blueberries, you're going to say shehayanu. Very nice. Now imagine they go out of season again, and they don't come back till September. So in the same Hebrew year, in the same Hebrew calendar year, right? Let's say Tafshin Ayin Peh Aleph, right? Tafshin Peh Aleph. They went in and out of season twice. So do I say Shehayanu twice? The answer is yes. Each and every time they go out of season and they come back into season, then you say Shehayanu. So that's an important halakha that was brought by Mishnah Berurah, and now Hazor Avadia reinforces it and says it outright. Peri hamithadesh pa'amayim b'shana yibrechu alav shechayanu pa'am harishona bilvad. Avadia says no. He says, wait a second, I'm not going to hold like Mishnah Berurah, and I'm going to say that no, the pri that goes into season twice, I'm only going to say shehayanu one time a year, and it's from this halakha that we get that, it's only really once a year. So you really need two criteria in summary for shehayanu. You need either once a year, and you also need the fruit to actually go out of season. So if you didn't have the fruit for an entire year, you could say shehayanu. If the fruit went out of season and came back into season, you also say shehayanu. But according to Hamadia, if it went out of season twice and came back, but it's the same year, only say it once. Mishnah Berurah says no. Mishnah Berurah says you say that beracha twice every time it comes in and out. So we follow Hamadia Yosef, so we only say it once. But if somebody wants to say it twice, they have only what to rely on with Mishnah Berurah, if that's who they follow. The second part of this is not necessarily on. It's not on fruits. We'll just do it quickly. The Gemara says that Amar Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, Haroet Havero la'achar 30 yom. Let's say I see a friend that I haven't seen for 30 days. You say Shehayanu v'kiyamanu v'giyanu l'zeman hazeh. Right, so after COVID, that's definitely a very applicable halakha. I would recommend doing this next one. Let's say you saw them after 12 months. You haven't seen a guy in a year. You say, Baruch mehayeh metim. You say, Baruch, the resurrection of the dead. Yeah, I wouldn't lead with that, right? But and by the way, this is a halakha. Maran Shulchan Aruch actually says in source 12. He reiterates these halachot, and he says, "Haroet haviro le'achar 30 yom omer shehayanu v'had yud ben chodesh mehayeh metim v'hu shehaviv alav harbeh v'samach b'riyato." It's not just anybody. Maran says it has to be somebody who's like, it's not a long lost friend, but a friend you haven't seen in a while, a sibling that your heart has to be extremely happy with it. And by the way, this is the halacha. A person can say it with Shem u'Malchut. However, nowadays, since it looks a little weird, and some people they're awkward about it, we do want to. Some people would say safek berachot lahakel. We don't use Shem Hashem, on this. We usually just say Baruch Mehaya Metim or Shehayan V'Kiyman V'Gyan Lezman Hazeh without saying Baruch Atah Hashem. What about if a person sent letters in the last halacha that we'll cover? Here's Maran. Mi shelo ra'a et havero me'olam v'shalach lo ktavim. Let's say they had an online relationship or they just sent people letters. Aval bishu neheneh b'riyato eno avrech ariyato. If a person never saw the person in their life, then you don't say shehayanu. Meaning this is on a renewed concept. Again, it's almost the same thing like we said from the fruit. We say, if you never saw them before, but you had correspondence, you're not going to say shehayanu. Once you saw them the first time, then you could say shehayanu on the second time as well. Okay, so we finished the sheet. If anybody has any questions, I'll stay on for another minute. If anybody has a question, if not, then we could sign off. It was really a great year. Sorry, Marcel, you have something.
Hi, I have a question unrelated to this, like from the previous class. So sorry to make you go back.
No, sure.
I wanted to ask the bread. You mentioned the olive bread, like you're making challah and you're putting olives in it. That's not hamotzi?
Right. So since it's a fruit, right, the olives are a fruit, and if you knead the olives into the dough, it's not going to be hamotzi.
So, but can you like make hamotzi on, let's say, pita bread and then eat the olive bread as part of your?
Of course you can.
Okay. Also, one more thing. I was just unclear.
I just want to clarify that point, meaning, but you should have half of the pita bread.
Oh, you have to?
Yeah, you can't be mitzaref because anything that's mizonot, you need a lot of olive bread unless you're eating like 4 betzim.
Oh. Okay, fine. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And also the granola that you were saying, when you're saying there's a difference between the rolled and the cooked. What do you mean by rolled and cooked? Cooked is like in the pot and also in the oven?
Cooked is, let's say, in the oven, or let's say cooked is also in like an oatmeal, like with the water,
Right. So you're never really having rolled, right? Is that what you're saying?
If you look on the ingredients of a lot of packages, or let's say you say granola, you'll look at the ingredients of granola, it says rolled oats. So if I'm having just a cup of granola at my house, or I'm putting granola on my yogurt, right? Or cottage cheese or something. So that's considered adama. And then
but that's always cooked. You're never putting raw of anything. It's always put in the oven.
Right. So the process of rolled oats, I don't think it goes in the oven for either a long period of time or etc. Meaning when they say that it's a rolled oat, that process amongst the poskim were saying that is still considered as not cooked, and you would say adama.
Okay, so if I'm taking the old-fashioned oats, like the one that you buy, and I'm putting it in my oven, that's already cooked.
And then we're going to say it's cooked, right? But if you're taking,
I'm not adding anything. I'm just adding like maple syrup, and that's it.
You're cooking it into a new item.
Okay.
Is any meaning you're taking? Like I know how people make like these oat bowls, right? Like they make, sometimes it's raw oats, and they're just. They're just putting it in for 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? If
fine.
Making it and it's a whole thing, and that's what you're doing. Then it's going to be cooked oats. Usually, are going to be. It more applies with cooked, like adding water and soaking them. Like let's say putting it in like a casserole or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, if it's just rolled, then it's going to be adama.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the whole class. I really appreciate it. I really got a lot out of it.
We're trying to vote. I have a lot of requests for kosher kitchen from the people who are here. Is that something you guys would be interested in, or pass?
I actually took that.
Right.
Yes, Rabbi.
Good. See, Marcel, we'll try to make it worthwhile. Let's see.
Okay. Thank you.
You have to go, but no, I appreciate everybody attending. We'll let you guys know what the topics are. That's one topic. Marcel, do you have another suggestion? Give us another topic. Let's just see. I'll put it on.
I always wanted to learn about Shabbat.
Shabbat, okay. Rini Manesh, what do you got? I can't hear you. 1 second.
We got 2 for kitchen over here.
2 for kitchen. What's up, Helen? How you doing?
How are you? What's going on?
Good. How's the baby? Good?
So cute.
Okay, awesome. Bring them on. Marcel's baby needs a friend. Let's go. We need them. The Sadiqis. The baby's getting big sachar. Okay. All right, guys. So thank you for attending, and we'll see you guys next semester. I'll put it in the chat. when we're starting and what the topic is.
Thank you.
You guys got it.
Thanks, Rabbi.
You got it. Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Be well. Be well.